The year is 2023. PBS Plus has just launched, bringing the world's streaming services to 4,387. How can anyone be expected to go through all this content? Fear not, loyal passengers. Captain Joe Shoes and his first mate Mez are here to travel through space and time to bring you the best nuggets pop culture has to offer. Strap in. It's time for the JoeMeZ podcast. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 348 of the JoeMeZ podcast. I'm Mez and my co-host as always is...
the magistrate of Caravan City and the new greatest cameo in the history of Ethan Page's big time famous toy hunt vlogs. That's right. It's me, Captain Joe Shoes from the JoeMeZ podcast.
How you doing, buddy? How the hell that happened? You don't even leave your house.
And I was walking down the street and just happened to come upon a toy hunt.
That's hysterical. Where were you going? What were you doing?
I was in Oshkosh, and it was the night of Brian Myers' Extreme Conversations with Raven. So I had walked over to the theater, which was basically down the block from the hotel, maybe 3 blocks, whatever. But there's a small, comic toy shop over there that they were filming a toy hunt at. So as I was walking by, I saw them doing their closing piece. So I just stayed off to the side. I wasn't going to interrupt.
Yeah, and then of course.
Julian looks over and he's like, "Hey, Joe, are you going to get in here?" And I said, "No, I don't want to interrupt." He said, "Hey, come in." So he's like, so I just waved. And he's like, "Do you want to say anything to the toy hunt fans?" And I said, "Nope."
I love it.
So yeah, that was it. I was just walking by, trying not to ruin the shot.
I love it. Being proper.
And now I see people. I had my Rick Boog shirt on, so people know
yes.
that's legit.
It's you.
That's a real. Raven saw me in that shirt. I don't know if I've told anyone this. So I meet Raven that night, and I've got the Rick Boog shirt on. And Raven looks at me. He goes, "Oh, is that your band?"
It's funny.
Me and Swoggle have been laughing about that one for a month now.
That's so good. That's funny. Oh, that's your friend, right? It's a buddy Raven, bro.
My buddy Raven. He just did Creator Pro last week.
Oh,
they had a big show in Long Island.
Yes.
MJF was there, and not only was he there making an appearance, he also gave them a match.
Fucking wrestled. It's pretty crazy. Hasn't wrestled for weeks on AEW, but Creator Pro, bro.
I knew this was gonna happen. He was I guess adamant about wanting to have a match, but it was a surprise for the people who were there in attendance. So he had a match with Leo Sparrow, who I will be wrestling at FWF Live 5. It'll be Leo Sparrow and VSK against the tag team champions, yours truly and Brian Myers, in what will be, Gomez, my last match ever.
Get out of here.
Until someone calls to book me for the next one.
Exactly.
But as we stand right now, this is the last one on my schedule.
So you hear this, folks? He's got a summer full of open bookings. Come on. Give him a call. Shoot him an email.
This is the last one ever on my current schedule.
That's it, folks. Come on. Come on down.
And of course, if you're listening to this Thursday when the show drops, you will have already missed it live, but you can go back if you're a member at majormarks.com and listen to the most recent Captain's Log, what we did with ECW music maker Harry Slash. Harry's been my buddy for 20-something years now.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to ask him everything about all his music, including the less popular ones, like the Dusty Rhodes one that hardly anyone brings up.
Oh, yeah?
He did that song.
That's good. I gotta see a list. When
Dusty had his Carino feud in ECW.
I got to see a list of all the stuff he's made, because he's probably made things I'm like, oh, my God, that was a Harry stuff.
Harry is also in the Hardcore Revolution video game that was made by Acclaim. He's one of the jobber guys that you face at the beginning of career mode or whatever.
That's funny.
And he was basically one of the only people in ECW who played video games and was familiar with the game because he had played the WWF Acclaim games.
Sure.
So he had the developers give him like all the best moves. So he's incredibly hard to beat.
That's funny.
At the beginning of this fucking game.
Oh man, that was a big deal. And ECW had a game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right.
And now AEW still waiting for that game. Supposedly done and ready. Still waiting.
It's been a while now, right?
Still waiting. Yeah, bro. They announced this, one of the first things they announced. We're gonna have a game, and they keep showing us.
Yo, what is it with these fucking games now? Because it like TNA was able to get a game fucking 15 years ago or so, probably more now.
Yes.
But like they were big enough to, I mean, they were selling pay-per-views at that time, but I remember like their highest selling pay-per-view was still not like a high selling by the standards of the day. You know what I mean?
I think like, they take that risk, you know, we maybe can't afford this video game, but we're gonna do it because it'll pay for itself. One of those things. Because TNA, you know, they probably shouldn't have had it.
But who's taking that risk? It's not TNA taking the risk, it's the developers, right?
I guess, but maybe TNA pay. I don't know how that works. Maybe they have to pay for, you know, I don't know. Because why would that's true? Why would a developer go out of their way to be like, "Yo, TNA Impact,
but
bro"?
Like there had to be a market for it that it got put out, you know, and it's got Shark Boy in it, so I assume everyone at home wanted to play it.
Of course, got to play Suicide.
S.H.I.E.L.D, yeah.
Shark Boy.
You telling me like Impact can't get a game right now? No one wants to be Ponderosa?
They got to be Steve Macklin, bro. They can't wait. Oh, Impact Wrestling, baby.
Oh man,
bro, they're doing good. Supposedly they're doing good.
Listen, I don't watch the show. I understand one of my best friends is on it. I don't watch.
You just don't watch wrestling. Yeah, I get it.
But I hear it's good from the people who do watch it. I hear it's entertaining. The crowds are fun. Everybody's having a good time.
So that's good. Wrestling's good.
JoeMeZ, let's start today with a little follow-up from last week.
Sure.
Last week, I came on this program and said some very hurtful, very truthful things.
Here we go.
About the movie Tron. Now, while these things are indeed the truth, people had problems with them. And I got people on YouTube calling me names and trying to make fun of me for having an opinion, a correct opinion, mind you, about Tron. But I made a comment last week, JoeMeZ.
What's the comment?
That I said, we are going to find the Tron fan.
Bro, we found too many.
And apparently there's more than one of you out there. But Jeff Minalia, one of our Council of Jeffs, took great umbrage with these statements. He's very upset. So, Jeff, I'm going to put it out there. I want to invite you to be a guest on this show. And JoeMeZ and I are going to watch Tron.
Oh, fuck you guys, man.
JoeMeZ hates me. And I'm thinking we make this your own. We'll do a little bonus episode. A little bonus episode with Jeff where we'll watch Tron. We're not going to watch it live, obviously, but we will have recently watched it. And Jeff can tell us why he, to this day, likes Tron. He was very excited for the Tron Light Cycle ride at Disney World. Says he's loved Tron since being a kid. And I just find that hard to believe.
It's crazy. Little kids like that? How can little kids like that? I understand, like, back then, like, oh, it probably looked like, whoa. But there's a lot of, I don't know.
But the thing is, like, even for me, like, I was too young to see Tron when it was new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, how, like, is Jeff in his 50s where he was like, I don't know. I don't think he is. I've met Jeff. He doesn't seem like. Yeah, maybe he is.
He could be. Who knows?
But Jeff, the invitation's out there. If you would like to come on, we would like to have you on the. We'd like to do an episode with you and watch Tron and hear all your thoughts and your main man standings, obviously, for the movie Tron, the original. We're not gonna watch the fucking sequel. Like, we're not doing both. I can't. I just don't have it in me.
Oh, all right. I guess I gotta watch this fucking Tron movie, bro.
Well, we gotta see. Maybe he doesn't want to accept our indecent proposal.
Right. He's gonna. Of course he is. He's got to let everybody know how good Tron is, because this man loves Tron. He's probably gonna wear his Tron
It's not
shirt.
about coming on his favorite podcast with his double main men. It's
care.
about just letting people know how good Tron.
Finally, the platform to let everyone know.
I've been waiting decades for this moment.
Oh goodness, fucking Tron! All right.
So yeah, the first of the Council of Jeffs to be offered an appearance on this show.
Oh, fucking guys! All right. Well, thank you, Joe. Thank you for getting me into this.
You've gotten me into a lot of shit. Remember, like Skinamarink is still something I have horrible memories about. PTSD. It's a real thing.
Why? Bro, come on. It's the hot movie. Everyone was talking about it. We had to.
Why is that still there?
He's straight. I can't get him off the spaceship, bro. He won't leave. I've been trying. He just.
A little bit more follow-up from last week. Yeah, last week I spoke about a show on HBO Max called Love and Death with Elizabeth Olsen, and this is about a love, not so much a love triangle. It's about an affair that happens between these two people, and eventually a murder takes place. It's a true crime story on HBO. We are now up to 5 episodes in. As it turns out, JoeMeZ, our other double main man, Eddie Bowman, reached out and said there was a show about this same case last year on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
So that one was called Candy. It was 5 episodes, and it starred Jessica Biel.
Oh, okay. Candy, Jessica Biel. I'm on board so far.
So Candy is actually the woman's name in the case.
Oh, then I'm not on board.
It's the evil Candy.
Well,
maybe not. I mean, it was kind of in self-defense, so appropriate Candy, I guess.
Yeah, self-defense, huh? That's how they make it seem, I'm sure. That's her excuse, right?
So I watched this show. I watched the Hulu show.
Ooh, okay.
5 episodes. Very different storytelling in the way they've edited it and decided to show the story. Very different casting, but a lot of the same kind of, like Jessica Biel's acting is incredibly similar to the Elizabeth Olsen form of acting. So there's a lot of similar reactions, and now I'm seeing them, basically same time. So it's easy for me to kind of compare.
Sure.
So it's interesting in that sense. I do not necessarily like it though. It's just the way it comes off is, it feels kind of half-baked in a sense of the way they're telling the story, because there are like some flashbacks and a couple jumps and stuff. It's not hard to understand. It just feels like there's a lot being left out.
Sure. And if you have another show showing you,
which is
it's like easy to compare and go,
which is funny because on the HBO show, I'm saying it feels too much and too dragged out.
So you need one more that's right in the middle. I need one more show.
I'm Goldilocks right now, jumping from Candy Montgomery shows until I find one that's just right.
Oh, come on, folks. Come on. We need one more, guys. Get it together.
So yeah, if you're on I guess let's see, Peacock. If you're Peacock, make me a show on Peacock about Candy Montgomery.
You won't watch it. You don't watch nothing on Peacock.
I do too. Every now
there might be something on there right now about Candy. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. I just recently watched like 3 episodes of Saturday Night's Main Event that was on there.
Oh, did you?
I watched. So I didn't get to see MJF versus Leo Sparrow from Creator Pro the other day, but I was in the mood to watch a title match. So I decided to watch The Genius versus Hulk Hogan.
Love it. Was it easy to find? Because I know people have problems. Yeah. Okay.
I find Saturday Night's Main Event very difficult to find. And it's something I like going back to because it's very nostalgic for me. Obviously, it was a big deal when I was a kid. And this particular episode with The Genius versus Hogan was like one of these things that my mom had to set the VCR to record for me, like because it was going on. It used to go on in the Saturday Night Live time slot.
Yeah.
So it's late at night and I'm 7 years old. I ain't staying up till 11:30 at night to watch fucking Hulk Hogan. So like the next morning though, like kid on Christmas eyes running down the stairs to see if it recorded. That way, and I must have wore that tape out. I watched the Genius versus Hulk Hogan so damn much. That's the one where Mr. Perfect comes, steals the belt, and then breaks it with the hammer.
Bastard. It's a big moment.
It's a big moment.
Who knew something you love would be so historically, important?
Yeah.
That hardcore belt, bro.
Yeah, right. Is that legitimately? I've always assumed it was.
I think it is. I don't know if it actually is.
I've never heard like a genuine, yes,
yeah.
it is. But I've always kind of assumed it was.
Yes, that's what I always thought. Yeah, I never.
If you know for a fact, if you're listening to this and you know for a fact whether the actual hardcore title held by Mankind in 98, 99, in that area, whatever, when he's presented with it by Mr. McMahon, if you know if that's legitimately the belt that Mr. Perfect broke on Saturday night's main event, I would love to hear some kind of confirmation on that.
Love it.
I mean, I could probably just Google it, but like this is much more fun. We're being interactive.
Interactive. Come on, tell us the story. Oh, I heard a good story on a podcast. Let us know. All right. I watched this movie, Joe. You know me, right? I don't watch a lot of trailers. I just hear about a movie and I watch it because you tell me someone's in it or a director. I go, okay, I like those people. Let me see. So there's this movie that's been out for a little bit now. It's called Paint. It stars Owen Wilson.
Yes.
Okay. He's got a big fro, right? So it looks like Bob Ross, right? Everybody loves Bob. Who don't love Bob Ross? Happy Trees. Come on, we love him. So I'm like, oh, let me watch this Bob Ross movie. So it's not really a Bob Ross movie. Like it's its own little movie. Like at first I thought I was going to watch a movie about this guy's life or something. It's not. It's just like a movie about a guy who paints on public access, who's very Bob Ross-like.
So he's not Bob Ross.
Yeah, like I forget his name. He's got some silly name. And it's about he's got a show on public access and there's a new hot girl.
Maybe he's Rob Boss.
I wish it was similar like that. It's like he's got some weird name that you would go, I would not watch this show if this man was his name was here. Let me see this guy's fucking name. I did not like this movie. It was so slow and like boring, like nothing really happens. And like the movie, like, because he's playing like the Bob Ross, so he's very like calm and cool, so the movie has that kind of same like vibe going. So it's just kind of like, all right, like I'm down to chill, but nothing's really happening. So I was not a fan. His name is Carl Nargle. Who would watch a show from a painter called
Carl Nargle?
Nargle, get out of here.
Why don't you just combine and just be Cargle?
No one would watch that shit. Unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, if he did a gimmick where he was like a fish and he called himself Cargle, I would watch that.
Oh, so this is on VOD. It's not streaming anywhere yet. Don't run to see it. I'm gonna tell you, like don't run. I looked at the reviews. Most people are like, it's a pretty middle of the pack kind of movie. It's not overhated, overpraised. It's just kind of there. It seems like a movie is just like, yeah, I guess, something to. It's short. It's like 90 minutes. That's the one good thing about it.
Yeah. The good thing about it is that it ends.
It ended pretty short, But yeah, pass on that one. No good. I love Owen Wilson. So I was like, oh, let's have some fun. Let's have some laughs tonight. Let's try to stay awake.
Well, Owen Wilson will be back in Loki season 2 very soon. So
very soon. I can't wait.
Then maybe you could love him again then.
I will, because I thought he was great on Loki. Loki was great. We loved Loki, right?
Loki was fun.
Oh, wait, we didn't love it? I don't remember.
You know what? I got to go back and watch it again. It was a little uneven. So was it great? Probably not. But it was fine. It was entertaining, and it was. I'm watch again.
I think Secret Wars starts in a couple weeks.
Oh,
I think that's like the first week of June or something. I'm excited. Something different from Marvel, like some kind of new kind of thing. I'm excited. What else?
So JoeMeZ, you mentioned your movie wasn't on streaming, but I watched a movie on streaming today, freshly added to Amazon Prime. It's the movie Air with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Jason Bateman, where they are the executives at Nike who are trying to land Michael Jordan to a shoe deal. This was in theaters very recently, and this suddenly popped up on streaming, which is why I guess neither one of us rushed out to the theaters to see it because it was always said that it was coming to streaming relatively soon.
It was made for Amazon, and then Amazon's like, hey, we can make a couple bucks if we put this out in theaters for a couple weeks. Yes, you can. Like, oh my God. So yeah, there was no rush to see that. I had read the book, the Phil Knight book about the Nike stuff, and it was very interesting. So a movie about Nike, it's definitely on my radar. I did not get to see this yet. What you think?
So it's not necessarily a movie about Nike, but it is this one singular instance of trying to land Michael Jordan, where Matt Damon plays Sonny Vaccaro, who has now become like this mythological great recruiter in the history of the marketing and sneaker business. But at the time, he is very much not that. And the basketball division at Nike is about to get completely cut out because it is just horribly unprofitable. And Sonny just says, I have to have Michael Jordan. He's the best player I've ever seen, and he can transform this whole division. And it's about how they go about signing Michael Jordan, who very much wanted to sign with Adidas at the time, really had no interest in even taking a meeting from Nike because Nike had zero street cred
running shoes.
In the they were running shoes. They had zero street cred in the basketball shoe game. You had Converse All-Stars, which was a bunch of players signed to Converse, but they all wore the same shoe. You know, that's hard to think about in today's terms. But Magic and Larry, like there was no Magic Johnson shoe. There was no Larry Bird shoe. There was no Isaiah Thomas shoe. There was just Converse All-Stars that these guys wore and endorsed. They all wore the same shoe, and they got all the biggest players. So one of the biggest things to be able to pitch to Michael Jordan was, we're not about to lump you in with a bunch of other guys. You will be your own thing. We're even going to name the shoe after you. It's going to be called Air Jordan. And his mom, according to the movie, negotiates the clause that gives him a percentage of every shoe sold with the name Air Jordan on it, which absolutely becomes transformative. So I found this to be not necessarily a great movie, but a very good and enjoyable, easy movie to watch. Obviously, if you are around our age group, you are definitely familiar with Michael Jordan. Obviously, you know what a fucking Air Jordan sneaker is.
What?
Yeah, exactly. And to think about there being a time where that didn't exist, and the sneaker game was so vastly different than kind of what it is now and what it has become. Very interesting, and I thought the performances were pretty good, including Affleck doesn't have a big role here. He's directing the movie as well, but he also plays Phil Knight, the head CEO and founder of Nike. But he has this like exuberance, which I've always heard about Phil Knight, and Affleck just kind of captures this like, I'm trying to think of the word. It's just like almost an aloofness to like the real world, and just like kind of doing things on his own. Like at one point, like he's just like, I gotta go. Like he just runs for like the hell of it, but he's wearing like ravishing Rick Rude pink striped tights. So it's just very weird. But Affleck is very entertaining, and I thought all the performances were pretty good.
I'll be definitely checking out this week.
Yeah, I would put it 3.5 main man.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, it's an easy solid movie. Very easy movie to sit and you don't gotta pay super close attention to. You understand what's going on. You get some good performances and some good moments and stuff.
Very nice, Joe. I checked out a show that people been talking about this week. Last couple weeks.
I know what it is.
What? What do you know? What show?
Ally McBeal.
I love Ally McBeal. Close though. Close. I checked out Jury Duty, Joe.
I've been hearing about this too.
Yeah. For weeks I've been hearing about this. It's on Freevee, which is technically a channel on Amazon. So it's on Amazon. If you go on Amazon, it'll pop up. But it's a free channel. It's free. And it's basically the Joe Schmo Show. We love the Joe Schmo Show. This is our shit.
So let's explain what that is. A lot of people probably don't know because we're going back 20 years easy on Joe Schmo.
100%.
So the Joe Schmo Show was on Spike TV when they first did their rebranding after being TNN, the Nashville network, for years and years and years. Yes. They've rebranded to be Spike TV, which was geared at young adult male audience.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, we're putting guy stuff. They had just gotten Monday Night Raw on the channel. They had stolen it away from USA, and they were going to give us a whole bunch of guy stuff, like video game awards and the Joe Schmo Show, which was a reality show where there was one person in the house who thought it was real, but everybody else was a hired actor. They had a backstory. They had to learn their whole character. Everything was fake except for this one guy. And they wanted to see how long they could go without him figuring it out. And in the first season, it kind of ruined it for future seasons because they got this one guy from Pittsburgh, Matt Kennedy Gould, who really hasn't been heard from since.
No, that's it.
So but at the time, he just seemed like he was the world's nicest guy.
The most genuine, nice guy you ever met. Bro.
And he went in with the intent to just have a really good experience.
Yeah.
That even though there were some things along the way that could have tripped it up and should have been like an alert for him, he just went in completely naive to the situation and bought in hook, line, and sinker. And you even have like young actors who hadn't broken through yet. Kristen Wiig is on that first show.
Yes,
she plays Dr. Pat. John Huertas is on season 2. And, you know, obviously he was big in Castle. And what's the This Is Us he's big on. Does a lot of directing now for TV.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, John Huertas, very busy guy. Awesome. So you have some people who become recognizable later, but at the time they're just, you know, struggling actors. And the Joe Schmo Show, that first season was dynamite. Like JoeMeZ and I could not wait to get to the season finale of that. So right? Good. Like we had a party, I believe.
I believe
like,
it.
I think I want to say like all our group of friends got together to watch the finale of the season 1 finale of the Joe Schmo Show.
So what a time, bro.
Like there was just the commercials that they would use to hype it up, and they'd be like, it's a reality show that isn't real. And you would just hear the one guy's voice in the background go, what is going on?
They could not have asked for a better person. Oh my goodness. So this show is doing the same thing where it is a jury selection and then a trial, and everybody is an actor. The judge is an actor. The lawyers, 11 of the jurors are actors, except for one guy. One guy's a real guy, and his whole thing is he's never done jury duty before, so he really doesn't know how it's supposed to go in here. So stuff is happening. He's like, well, I've never done jury duty, so I'm like, I don't know if this is supposed to happen or not. And so it's a bunch of, you know, lesser known actors, except for James Marsden. Lovable Cyclops. Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. He's on the
Liz
jury.
Lemon's husband.
Yep. And so he's on there, and it's just him.
He's on
and
the
a bunch
jury?
of people. He's on the jury. Yep.
Like, is he James Marsden though?
Yes, he's James Marsden. Yes, he's playing
like
himself.
I'm famous actor James Marsden. I also happen to get called.
Yes, I shouldn't have to do this, right? I'm like, I got a big part coming up, you know. I got to see how can I get at? So he like befriends the guy, you know, like it's really good. I watched 2 episodes. I think it's 6 or 7 episodes. I'm digging it. I don't love it, you know. I don't think it's as good as Joe Schmo. This guy is very good though. They got someone he's being nice. He's going along with things that you would want him to go along with. Like he's not like questioning. He's just like kind of playing along. Like him and James Marsden like become friends, and he's like backing him up and stuff. And then at one point he does it, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So it's fun. I'll probably finish it because it's like 30, 40 minutes. It's quick episode.
Quick watch.
And it's fun. It's light. It's easy. I think most people are going to get a kick out of it. I think, especially if you're not familiar with Joe Schmo, the idea of a reality show where everyone's in on it except for one person, it's a cool concept.
It's a good concept. It's probably been overdone by this point, but at the time where Joe Schmo started, it was the first of its genre, you know, because reality television had just become a big thing in its own.
Yes, it was.
So Joe Schmo kind of broke new ground for the genre, and I don't think you can watch it anywhere. I have it on DVD. I have seasons 1 and 2 on DVD. That may have to go up on twitch.tv/mezmovie at some point.
We might have to do that. Have a weekend.
If we get some feedback, if you guys are interested in the Joe Schmo show, that may have to come out of the cobwebs here. But yeah, Jury Duty sounds fun. Yeah, go ahead.
Season 2 had moments. I'm thinking of season 2, Joe Schmo.
The Falcon.
It had moments. The Falcon. I remember, right? They had to switch someone halfway in or something, right?
They had 2 schmoes on the season 2 at the beginning. A woman and a man, and the woman kind of figures it out almost right away. So then they have to be like, hey, don't ruin this for the guy. We're going to make you part of it.
That's right. Okay. All right. So I'm interested now. Maybe it's better than we think, but we so fondly remember
the first season was so good, and that guy was just so good that it made anything. It's like putting the Bad Bunny match on and then expecting the main event to be able to,
it's crazy.
have people still invested.
Insane. Yeah, Jury Duty, Freevee, Amazon.
I'm interested. That's on Amazon. Okay, yeah. I've been hearing about it. A lot of people talking about it. I want to check it out. I like James Marsden.
He's fun.
He's a very charming guy.
He is, and he's playing it up. He's playing himself, but a little douchier. So it's fun. Yeah. He's having fun with himself, which is always good.
I also like having fun with myself.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Yo, I'm just gonna put it out there. Jerking off rules.
I mean, sure, there's nothing wrong with it, bro.
That'll probably be the title of this week's episode.
I mean, if I'm allowed to, I know YouTube has some standards, but I mean, if I can put jerking off in the title, it's definitely going to be there.
I mean, I guess.
We put it's not for children, right? So, I mean, we should be allowed to do this. See, that's bullshit. Come on. Too many rules. Come on.
I'm just saying, it does. It's great.
It does. No one's who's gonna say no? Come on. We don't play that here. It's the best.
I also checked out a show on streaming this week, JoeMeZ. New release over on Disney Plus. This was one of my things that I've been looking forward to for a long time since it was first announced. Muppets Mayhem, the story of Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem recording their first album. It's created, executive produced by Adam F. Goldberg, who he did the Goldbergs, obviously. He's become like the king of nostalgia in the pop culture medium for all the stuff that he's behind and producing. It's like if I had the drive and talent to create like the stuff that I liked, I would be Adam F. Goldberg, because he's basically just doing stuff catering to me at this point. He did a documentary on the Garbage Pail Kids called 30 Years of Garbage. He was behind, he was an executive producer on the Powers of Grayskull documentary about the history of He-Man. He created the Goldbergs, obviously, which is based on a lot of stuff that happened in his childhood. And he also did the spinoff with Schooled, was another show he did. So this guy, he's got his fingers in a lot of things that I like. It's like he knows me. He knows I'm his audience. And he says, what does Captain Joe Shoes like? That's what I'm going to make. And he went and made Muppets Mayhem, which is cool for me because I often like the lesser characters. I love the Electric Mayhem. Zoot is a top 3 Muppet for me.
Good guy.
So in this story, it's about them creating the album. They were supposed to do it decades ago, and they said they would do it when they finished up their tour. The problem is that the Electric Mayhem have never stopped touring.
It's a great band.
So now we get this whole situation. They're put into a house where they got to create this album. We get cameos up the wazoo. It's 10 episodes. They go very quick. JoeMeZ, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not like a hardcore Muppets fan, but I like the Muppets. And now you're giving me kind of background Muppets and making them the centerpiece of this new show. And it's done so well. It's got such a good Muppets feel to it. It is so much fun. It is so enjoyable. Whether or not you are even Dr. Teeth and fans, you're going to be you're going to fall in love with these characters if you haven't already been exposed to them. They're used great. The show is so well done. I'm going to give it a quadruple main man. I've watched the whole thing. I think it's great. I think it is great. There's so many cameos, so many legitimate laugh out loud parts, and some very heartwarming ones as well that I won't give away quite yet. I can't talk up this show enough. I know my friend Swoggle is a huge Muppets fan. He's got some ugly Muppets tattoos all over his pudgy little legs, and he loves the Muppets, and he's not finished yet, but where he's at, he's loving each episode more and more. So that's bill of sale from the Muppet Maestro, star of
Muppet Maestro.
Muppets Most Wanted. Muppets Most Wanted. He was the star.
I saw 2 episodes of this show. And Joe, I couldn't agree more. The 2 episodes I saw, I just loved it. I thought it was great. I can't wait to finish watching it. I was like, this show is fantastic. This is what a Muppet show. This is exactly what I needed right now.
It just has that feeling, right? Where you're like, this is how the Muppets need to be used.
Yep. It was so good. I'm loving it. I can't wait to finish it, bro.
So Adam F. Goldberg.
Ooh.
Well, there was another Adam Goldberg in his class, so he's always been Adam F.
That's funny.
But he has, gone on social media and said his goal now is to create an entire Muppets verse with all different shows,
do all the background characters. That's cool.
Do a whole thing because, like he's like us. He's a fan. He grew up liking a bunch of stuff, and the Muppets have kind of been dormant for a long time. We had those 2 Jason Segel movies, right? The first one, very good. Muppets Most Wanted was okay, I guess.
All right. Had moments.
Had moments. But then it's like we kind of forget how to use the Muppets.
That ABC show, remember, with the sexy pig?
Yeah.
The sexy pig taking over.
and they had the Disney special of Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
that was a year ago or so.
That's just speaking of, Joe, did you see the trailer for
I know it dropped. I haven't watched it.
I heard people saying, "Oh my God, there's so many ride Easter eggs, like people are losing their minds." So I can't wait to see that.
I love the Haunted Mansion ride. It's such a basic ride, it really is. But if
it's fun, it's fun.
Once again, a lot of nostalgia for me, and as an adult, I like it maybe even more than I did as a kid. Because there's so many things that you can look for when you're on the ride that it almost becomes you can see things for the first time, no matter how many times you've been on the ride. There's a lot to be able to look for, and the Imagineers who created the ride really did a spectacular job in hiding and putting different things all over the place. So if you ever want to Google like things to look for, and the Haunted Mansion ride, I mean, there's lists and lists of stuff that people have cooked up and put out there.
Interesting. I love that. Things to look for.
Legitimately, things to look for.
I believe it. I'm sure there'll be so many results.
Even they've become like their own characters. Like, I never realized up until the past couple of years that like some of to me, they're just the Haunted Mansion ghosts.
I'm sure they have names and backstories.
They have names and backstories, and people. Oh well, I'm a fan of this one, and I'm a fan.
Of course, because people have to latch on. They find that
and then
character.
Even Funko started putting out pops of the ghosts semi-recently, and those became hot sellers. I knew I should have bought them at the time. I didn't. I'm trying to sell these Funkos anyway, but I could have flipped them. I could have been that flipper guy.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, so I missed out. But yeah, Muppets Mayhem. Like if you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a solid. Go watch it. Good for the kids. It's like you'll be entertained too. It's not just a 4-kid show. You'll enjoy it, but you can watch it with your kids. It's definitely for the whole family.
100%. Yes, definitely. Good. Look at that. I'm excited. I'll come back next week and give my 5-star review because I'm sure I can't imagine it not being as good as it started. I figure it's all the way through.
They just seem to really understand the characters they're working with, and that it's the Muppets. It doesn't have to be fucking realistic.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't want it to be.
No, and I tell you what, like my man is Zoot. I've always said I love Zoot. Zoot gets such great time in this show. including at one point they're filming like a reality show about them recording the album. And Zoot doesn't realize it's a show and starts like a casting call for people to come in and audition to play him. And the cameos that we get out of that and just Zoot's reaction to the people trying to play him is just mwah, chef's kiss.
Love it. Can't wait, baby. Gotta have another busy week of watching.
Oh, we're gonna have a few busy weeks coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Especially if Jeff accepts our invitation to come on and talk Tron.
Oh, say no, Jeff. Say no. Just put out a tweet. I'll put the tweet up on the screen. Say what you need to say.
Tron is good because I like it.
I like Tron. Tron the best. There you go.
Love
right
Jeff.
there. Perfect. Save us the 2 hours. Oh, you watch anything else, Joe?
Only our main event.
Oh, baby, what a main event. Oh, yes, the wheel of superheroes has spun and landed on a gem.
You know what? So I really didn't know a lot about this movie. Like I knew it existed, and that's about it. Now, I will say I would have always imagined this to be a lot older than it is.
Like early 90s, right?
Yeah, like 100% early 90s. When I see 1998, I'm going,
it blew my mind. I said, is this right? I said, wait a minute, do I have the right movie here?
And Gomez, did you know that we are only less than 2 weeks away from the 25th anniversary of this initial airing of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, I purposely did it that way to
you purposely spun the wheel that way. This originally aired May 26th, 1998. Wow. So almost to the day, just a pubic hair away from the 25th anniversary.
It's the truth. When I saw, I said, this kid, but then I thought of it, I said, oh, well, I guess, right? David Hasselhoff, right? That's his prime years, right?
Well, to me, it's not. To me,
what's Baywatch, like 94 or 5?
Early 90s.
Oh,
I'm still in grade school when Baywatch is like.
Oh, see, okay.
So like probably 93, 94.
Oh,
like
so this is even weirder.
Yes. So now here's the thing. I did some research on this. Now, number one, under no circumstance do I have any understanding of how in 1998 we are getting a Nick Fury vehicle.
No shot. It's got to be like, let's do a spy show or so, like something like
no, because here's what it is, Gomez.
What is it?
There was originally plans for a live action Nick Fury going back to as early as September of 1986.
Jesus.
And it just got pushed and moved and halted all these years until they finally get the go ahead and create this television movie in 1998 that aired on Fox. And the reason for this movie was to try to act like a vehicle. It was supposed to be like a backdoor pilot to try to get a new live action series started about S.H.I.E.L.D., which eventually happened on ABC as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. many, many years later. But this was what they were kind of going for at this time. And the reason Hasselhoff was cast in this as Nick Fury is they wanted to have some sort of recognizable star power. Sure. So whilst Hasselhoff, he was still a name at this point. But I mean, this is still a few years after like the peak of Baywatch.
Yeah, I'm looking. IMDb says Baywatch is from 89 to 2001. So yeah, this is the end of the Baywatch era.
To me,
might not even be on the show.
Baywatch is 93 to 96, 92. Like that. That's peak Baywatch to me, because Pam Anderson was like, when I was in the 7th and 8th grade, like junior high, Pam Anderson was the girl. You know what I mean? So that's peak Baywatch.
I love it. Fucking Baywatch.
But the thing I can't get over is where, as someone who wasn't a comic book guy, I just don't get like where they thought this Nick Fury was going without something like an MCU where you're going to develop and flesh out all of these side characters. Was Nick Fury really that big of that popular of a character that, hey, he could be the leading guy in this new television vehicle we got.
Maybe they think like they could use him like they use him in MCU where he bridges. Like they'd be like, oh, we'll do a couple regular episodes and then we'll do a Tony Stark episode, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be something.
I genuinely don't know. So I asked my man Nick, who's a very big comic book guy.
Yeah.
I said, tell me what you know about this movie. And it really wasn't much. He goes, oh, but I love that movie because it was the very first thing where I felt like I was getting a genuine Marvel movie.
I agree with that, where there was a lot of stuff that we hear about years later in the MCU. Like, they were very true. It wasn't like one of these movies that hates comic books. Like, it was like trying to be a comic book movie.
Like, there are some inaccuracies, obviously.
Sure.
But for the most part, it is pretty accurate to the character of Nick Fury and some of the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff and the fact that there is a helicarrier.
Yes, there's a helicarrier.
You know, Clay Quartermain is a character who's killed early on in this movie, but is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in like every form of everything. One of the side characters in this is Alexander Pierce, who plays a British agent, but in the MCU, he's the character portrayed by Robert Redford.
Oh,
so
Pierce,
like that.
Yeah.
That's one of those. So what is this movie about, Gomez? According to IMDb,
what is
Agent Nick Fury is asked to fight the menace of Hydra after exiling himself in the Yukon since the end of the Cold War.
Oh, it's a long time.
I think that only does probably a half good job of explaining the premise of the movie.
It's the basic, yeah.
Nick Fury got kicked out of S.H.I.E.L.D. because he was a rough and tumble kind of guy.
A rebel.
Yeah.
Don't play by the rules.
So now there's a big Hydra invasion by the daughter of Baron von Strucker. They seize back his dead corpse because he has a virus in it that they can weaponize. And in the process, they kill Clay Quartermain, who I guess was childhood friends with Nick Fury. So now he's they need him back because no one can stop Hydra like Nick Fury.
That's it. You need someone who goes off book sometimes.
And hey, like Nick Fury, you know, they try telling him that like the world's changed. He's like, well, if the world has changed, you wouldn't still need guys like me to save it.
Perfect 90s action hero line.
This movie is chock full of all the prototypical tough guy talk. Like when you see your long lost friend, you look at you swine. Like
if this was a well-known movie, this would be on list of when people talk about what's like a 90s action. Show me something that shows me 90s. This right here, bro, 90s action. It is.
Now, I've only heard absolutely terrible things about this movie. I don't think it's unwatchable.
It's fine. It's a made-for-TV movie. It's nothing so terrible. It's not
like they went and blew $180 million on this budget. The budget for this was $6 million. You know, so like
it's very small, contained. It's nothing crazy. And I think the cheesiness is fun. Like, that's part of the charm.
And so the guy who originally wrote the script, he says the best thing about the movie is actually Hasselhoff because he's in on the joke. So he's delivering it as it was meant to be written, like tongue-in-cheek and stuff. And I will say, look, David Hasselhoff is not going to win like any thespian awards anytime soon, right?
Why are we shit talking?
No. Listen, I grew up on David Hasselhoff. I love Knight Rider as a kid. Yeah. I had that little toy dashboard that you would put on the floor and you would sit in front of, and it wasn't a computer screen because it felt like we didn't have computers back then, but it was just, you would see this like rotating thing where it was just like, it looked like you're driving on the road and it would make noise and shit. I love Knight Rider. I love Baywatch because as I grew up, I loved girls in bathing suits, and David Hasselhoff was there to supply them to me. And he hired Pam Anderson, and he hired Yasmine Bleeth, and he hired Nicole Eggert, and I appreciate him greatly. Alexandra Paul, never really my type, but everyone else, Erica Eleniak, Carmen Electra, what a time! Joe said
to be loves jerking off. This is the start. This is the start. You see?
And do you know? No, actually, time
around the
period
time
may match up. Do you know how many good parody porn movies we've gotten because of Baywatch?
I'm sure. I can only imagine.
We've gotten Babe Watch, which has like, I don't know, 100 volumes. We've gotten Boob Watch, which has, I don't know, 100 volumes. I've seen them all. They're all great.
You know it's good if it's got 100 sequels, bro. Come on.
You can't just make sequels for no reason.
That's not how it works.
I spent Boob Watch, all chicks with giant boobs being watched by me.
I was watching.
Tiffany Towers, Rocky Roads, I'm here for it. Holly Body, I'm here for it. What were we talking about? What is this even about? What podcast is this?
Do you ever click the vintage section when you're scrolling? Do you like go back and watch these 90s?
So my search history is always just 90s.
I love it. You're the best.
I want some Diana Loren. I want some Asia Carrera, Kobe Ty, Nikki Sterling, and of course the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I'm not even kidding here. Stacey Valentine.
It's always been Joe's favorite. Oh, God bless. What an episode.
So who thought you were going to get a lot of good 90s porn talk out of the David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It wasn't that far-fetched. I mean,
really?
Anytime we bring a Hasselhoff, Baywatch comes up. And if we're talking Baywatch, of course, we're going to start talking about the ladies. I mean, what else did you watch Baywatch for?
The storylines. And David Charvet.
Those kids always drowning on the beach.
Can't even fucking swim. What are you doing on the beach? Why would you go?
I don't know. If I don't know how to do something, I don't just jump in and figure it out.
So Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Listen, I don't think it's that fucking bad. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's good.
No.
But people make it out to be like this absolutely horrible movie. Like, oh, this is one of the worst Marvel things ever. And honestly, I don't think it is. I think there are definitely things out there that are worse than this.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not. No, there is nothing so bad about this movie. This movie is fine. It's not great, but like I said, it is enjoyable. It's also like 90 minutes. It's quick and easy. Bing, bam, boom, because it's made for TV. So, it hits all the beats. You got to go. Keep going, keep going. So it's not a lot of downtime. Something's always happening. So that makes it enjoyable. This movie is not bad, folks.
No, and I mean, we're only a couple of years away at this point from when superhero movies basically got legitimized by the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Which, at the time, we all went to see X-Men going, I know it's going to suck, but I want to see the X-Men.
We got to see X-Men. We have to, yeah.
And then we all walked out of there going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then 2 years later, we all went to see Spider-Man and said, I know I can't compare it to X-Men. I know X-Men is going to give me unrealistic expectations, but I'm still going to go see Spider-Man. And then we all walked out of there going, oh my God, oh my God. And all of a sudden we had this superhero revolution on our hands.
Yep.
We were just a couple of years away from that when we had Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's not that bad. JoeMeZ, hit the music. Are you a man? A double main man? Are you a man? A triple main man? A man? A quadruple main man? Are you our man? Are you our man?
Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., 1998, baby. Where's this fall on your main man standings?
Bert, I'm glad you were able to find this movie. I'm glad you have this movie. I'm glad people got to see this movie because it doesn't even have a really hard release. It does have it is a DVD, but it was a Best Buy exclusive DVD.
Which is insane. It's so crazy.
Very odd to think about. So I wonder how much. Like I should have eBayed it. Like checked how much an out-of-print copy of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going for. But like I said, I don't think this is that bad. I think it is kind of unfairly remembered, and people want to make fun of it because it's a Hasselhoff vehicle. So it's a kind of like low-hanging fruit for people. Like, oh, it's Hasselhoff, so it can't be too serious. He's not going to win a Golden Globe for this, nor should he, but he's fine. There's nothing outwardly horrible about this movie. It's not the best, but it's so far from the worst. And that's why I'm going to go double main man. I found enough entertainment value in this movie where I'm going to throw it 2 stars.
Same thing, baby. 2 stars. It's fine. It's good. Some people might enjoy it even more than us. They might love that cheesy shit. That might be their shit, It's very enjoyable. I'm looking on eBay now. You can get a brand new copy for $11.
I almost feel like I got to buy it.
Not a lot of copies, though. It's the only one. I'm looking. I'm only seeing this one person selling it, bro.
Is it a buy it now?
Oh, look at this. It's a Region 2 UK disc, so it won't even work, bro. Oh, man. So look at this. You can't even get this. Unbelievable.
That's the only one up on eBay right now.
The only one I see. Because I see a lot of comics. There's a lot of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. comics. So, well, look, we'll do some research to see if we can find something for next week. That's crazy. But yeah, folks, if you ever get a chance to see it, I don't know. Maybe I'll stream it another time for people who knows. But it's good. It's worth it. I think people would see it and they would go, this isn't the worst Marvel. Come on.
I agree with that. I think there's been a lot worse Marvels.
Not even just counting MCU. There's a lot of other Marvel stuff that we might be watching.
Now, JoeMeZ on his stream this week on Twitch had some stuff in the middle. I didn't get to watch the stream straight through, but I did catch some, what was that, like kaiju Spider-Man stuff going on?
It was the Japanese Spider-Man series, bro. It's the best. It's like a regular Spider-Man show, and then all of a sudden, the monster gets big, and Spider-Man's got to figure out what to do. Little Power Rangers action. It's the fucking best.
I've obviously I've seen parts of this before. I've seen it mentioned on documentaries and stuff. I've never seen like a full episode of this Spider-Man show, so to see this in that form was pretty entertaining. So for those of you who tuned into the JoeMeZ's Twitch stream to watch this movie this week, I hope you really enjoyed that bonus he threw in.
I'm probably going to show more episodes throughout the summer when we watch other stuff, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun watching that shit.
Now, we do have a break from the wheel this week because there's a big release coming this week, isn't there?
Oh, yes, there is, baby. Oh, boy. Are you ready for Fast X? The family's back together, bro.
Now, we got to talk about this. Fast X. But this was supposed to be the last one, but is it? Because now we're hearing that the last movie is the last story, I guess the last chapter is going to be split into a trilogy.
At first it was going to be split into 2 movies, and now recently this guy has come out and said, oh, you know what, actually it's a trilogy. So I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I don't love all these movies. I love some of them, but I always get entertainment from them, so I'll keep watching them.
Exactly. I always leave there entertained, even for as ridiculous as it gets. And there was even a tweet this week where someone was like, okay, what's your your mark of designation as to where Fast and the Furious just got too ridiculous? And for me, I pulled out the very famous GIF from Mean Girls, and I said the limit does not exist.
That's a good answer.
Give them all to me. I am always entertained by these movies, and I cannot say that for every entry in a lot of other series of movies out there.
100%. Like I said, they're not all fucking gold mines, but you're watching that, you're gonna see some big dumb action, and that's what I came there for. That's why I watch it on the big screen. I love them. I very rarely watch these at home. It's meant for big consumption.
You know what? It is. I can't say I rewatch them a lot.
Yeah. No.
Maybe if they're like if I was at someone's house where like we're having a party and flipping through the channels and like, oh, there's Tokyo Drift is on FX right now. Like, yeah, maybe I'll leave that on for a while. But I'm not sitting here going, oh, you know what? I really want to see Fast 6 right now.
I don't see Fast and the Furious on cable a lot. That's something that's like,
I feel like it would have been a while
prime
ago.
For cable, right?
It feels like definitely like weekend or holiday graduation type party thing where you're at like your uncle's house. They don't know what to put on because like it's a slow sports time.
We'll just put something on. Yep, 100%. That's what we do at the in-laws. Let's watch something. Let's go. Why not? All right, Fast X. I'm excited. I don't have my tickets. I got to squeeze it in. I got a busy week, but we're gonna squeeze it in.
And speaking of busy, apparently these guys were busy spoiling one of the biggest surprises of the movie.
I don't even understand what is the purpose of spoiling it, because it's a spoiler for an end credit scene or something, like at the end of the movie that has nothing to do with the movie. So it's not like, how like with what's that fucking Shazam, they started spoiling like, Wonder Woman is going to be in this movie, even though she shows up at the fucking end, but they like try to be like, oh, Wonder Woman's in this movie, you should try to see it. Like, okay, but for this, what are we doing? Why are we spoiling this? What are we doing?
No, I don't know. I'm interested to see how it does at the box office. I think opening week is obviously going to be a monster. We just had Guardians of the Galaxy followed up with a very, very strong second week.
I was just going to say,
another $62 million.
Yeah.
So it beat the expectations again, has surpassed Ant-Man up to date now. So this is obviously a big hit for Marvel. So now we're going to see if Universal keeps it going with Fast and the Furious.
Oh, I'm excited. That's next week, Joe.
Oh, so we should finish up this week then.
I think so. Let me hit some music here.
It's now time for the big finish.
All right, let's get the wheel up and let's spin it. Oh, yeah, come on. Let's go. What we got here? Oh, look at this.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy. Joe's gonna do this in 4 seconds. Today's big finish, folks. Favorite Met players. Joe was born for this. Here we go. Come on.
Very difficult.
Go. What? Really?
1 and 2 are definitely solid. My favorite baseball player of all time, my favorite childhood baseball player was Greg Jeffries. And to this day, I am bullying the proprietor of the Queens Baseball Convention to bring in Mr. Jeffries for some kind of meet and greet or breakfast or panel appearance at one of his conventions. That way I can host it. And if that ever does become a reality, I have been told I will become the host. So I'm looking forward to that. Greg Jeffries, number 1. My number 2 is Mike Piazza. Love Mike Piazza. Led us into a golden era of Mets baseball that previously never happened before. First time we ever had back-to-back years in the playoffs was because of Mike Piazza. But when it comes to number 3, I don't think there's a clear-cut number 3. There's a lot of guys I like a lot. I love Jacob deGrom. I love R.A. Dickey. Oh my God, so many. Lance Johnson for the one season that he was in New York was great. Todd Hundley. I was definitely a part of the Todd squad. Yes, Mackie Sasser was a big one for me. So there were a lot of guys out there. Dave Magadan, I really liked. Rico Bronya, John Olerud.
Papi, yeah.
I loved Rico Bronya. I mean, I loved Jose Reyes. And it sucks to look back at Jose Reyes with everything that happened and kind of have to temper my excitement about him. But, sometimes these things happen. But that 2006 team especially, I mean, I was 25. I was young. I still didn't have a lot of responsibilities. Had they won the World Series at that point, Carlos Beltran, I've always been a Carlos Beltran fan, even before he became a Met. Had that 2006 team finished the job like they should have and won that World Series, I don't know what kind of level my Mets fandom would be at today because I would have had my World Series. So all I want is one. All I want is one.
That's it. Just got to taste it once. Ray Ordonez, Todd Hundley, Mike Piazza. There we
Ray
go.
Ordonez. I'm shocked. Not shocked that Ray Ordonez is on there, but I'm shocked about someone you left off, because as someone who has known you for going on 25 years now, where is Hideo Nomo on your list?
My God, I totally forgot about him. Mike Piazza, you're off the list. You're off the list.
And I think Todd Hundley about to be off the list, because you know who else you forgot?
Who?
Carlos Baerga.
Oh my God, Carlos Baerga. Oh man, Roberto Alomar. He's
fuck him. If I was just thinking who would be on my most hated list, Roberto Alomar, Roger Cedeno. I hated that guy. Eli Marrero.
Oh, fucking Marrero, that piece of shit.
But like, I used to heckle him when he was on the other team, and then when the Mets got him, I like couldn't believe it. I felt like they did it because of me.
Disrespect, bro. No loyalty.
Scott Strickland was another one. He was a relief pitcher who I just couldn't stand. Oh my God, there's so many of those guys. But
Jason Bay.
Oh.
That's one we don't talk about that guy.
The Jason Bay thing is weird, just because I mean, it's not even necessarily his fault. It's the concussions and the injuries, really. But going back, I mean, we're going back to what, 2008 at that point. Just like we didn't know a lot about head injuries still at that point, or the extent of the effect and the damage that they cause. So poor Jason Bay got a lot of shit that was probably undeserved at the time.
Sure. But didn't I remember
but he was still terrible.
The signing of him, we were all like, why are we signing Jason?
The thing with Jason Bay was we gave Jason Bay, $66 million for 4 years. At the same time, Matt Holliday was available and was obviously the better player. And it was like, if you're going to give Jason Bay that, why not just ante up the extra money and get Matt Holliday, which would have been the right play.
Bastards. Mike Hampton, right? That bastard.
Hey, I mean, he took the bag, right? We don't get mad at people for taking the bag. It's the fucking bullshit about the Colorado. The public school system is much better. But still, Mike Hampton gave us that complete game win in the NLCS to send us to the World Series in 2000. So how mad are you going to stay at Mike Hampton? Can't do it forever.
All right, then Tom Glavine. How about that?
Fuck Tom Glavine.
Mad forever.
Thank God Tom Glavine didn't pitch a no-hitter. Because if my first no-hitter in team history had to come from a fucking Brave, I would have been livid.
Fuck him. Never met. We don't. Ugh. The Marlins. What are we doing?
7 runs in the first inning. Never forget it. I was at that game.
Unfucking believable, bro. What a. All right. Enough Mets. We'll be here all day.
Yeah,
angry at Met players.
We get mad at this year's team the way it's been going.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Joe, did you know that your Colorado Rockies in the 13-run pool here, they put it on the Mets so bad that week that they went from the bottom? You know that they're only one number away from.
Yeah.
Holy
I do know that.
This team is like, come here if you want to get good, guys. Like, what is happening?
It's as we speak, the Mets are just now starting a series with the best team in baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays, that I'm blacked out of because I can't watch it because I guess I'm still technically in the Tampa Bay Rays fan zone, whatever. So,
bro, you're 100 miles away. What is going on?
No, it makes sense, but I also get blocked out of the Marlins.
That's bullshit. It's one or the other. You shouldn't have to get.
Dude, there's teams in the Midwest, or I should say, people in the Midwest who get blocked out of, or blacked out of the Cardinals, the Royals, the Cubs, the White Sox, the Twins, the Brewers, like all of them.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I'd be furious, bro.
Like the entire Midwest, all those teams apparently stake claim. So baseball blacks out all of them.
Jesus Christ.
So we'll see if that blackout thing ever changes. It's always a hot topic of conversation. about MLB just taking over the broadcasting rights, and especially as we're seeing the kind of regional cable networks kind of disappear and it become not as profitable, MLB kind of taking over the broadcasting. So we shall see if blackouts become a thing of the past. But oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you see the Phoenix Suns owner, the new owner of the Phoenix Suns? He's taking them off of
the cable channel.
Off the cable channel because he's like, it pays. Like the money's nice, but I also want to grow my fan base, and on free TV is where you grow your fan base.
So now there's talk of possibly trying to get him to also buy the Arizona Coyotes and see if he would like to try to grow that game, where maybe it's an outlay of money at the beginning, but maybe big financial incentive on the back end. There's some rumors going on about that. Matt Ishbia,
yeah, Ishbia, I believe it is, yeah.
So very interesting stuff. A lot of interesting stuff going on with hockey and possible expansion right now, but that's a tale for another time.
We're talking real fast before we wrap up. The sports, the Final Four, both NHL and NBA. Yep. What are you thinking here, Joe? The Florida Panthers, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, hey, sometimes teams get hot and they're overpaid goalie who they really wish they could have gotten out from under that contract these past couple of years.
Playing good.
Stepped up in the big moment. They beat the number one team of all time. They just won the second round against the Maple Leafs in 5 games, which is going to cost a lot of people their jobs in Toronto. So very interesting. We got the Maple Leafs and Carolina Hurricanes in the East, and now the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars in the West. I would like to see Florida versus Vegas. I am going with Vegas as the winner of the Stanley Cup. And JoeMeZ, who do we got in the NBA?
In the NBA, in the East, we got the Miami Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. Celtics are favored there. We'll see what happens. The Heat, though, are just they're putting it through. They're the 8th seed.
Hey, they're the Florida Panthers of basketball.
They are. They're both the 8th seed, and
they're both
kicking ass.
Yep.
And then in the West, we got the number 1 seed, the Denver Nuggets, 2-time MVP. Jokic, and taking on LeBron, the Lakers, Anthony Davis. It's gonna be good, bro. I'm excited. This is
I'm gonna go Lakers, Celtics, Lakers over.
I would love that. I don't know. The Nuggets are fucking good, bro. They're really good. The only thing that could help is if Anthony Davis does his thing and slow down. You can't really slow down Jokic, you know.
He is some fucking player, man. I've been watching and just
unbelievable. And nobody watches because it's on the Nuggets. Who the fuck is watching Denver Nuggets? You know, they just see this big doofy white guy killing it. And now people are going to learn. They're going to learn real quick. Denver Nuggets are real fucking good. They were the number 1 team all year. And I think they had like the worst odds to win. Like no one respected them. Everyone was like, fuck this. Bro. And they've killed everyone. Murdered the Phoenix Suns last round. Please. So I'm excited. The playoffs have been great. I've watched a little bit of the hockey. From what I've seen, it's been good, but basketball has been a fantastic.
I will say
playoff.
The second round for hockey was very, very good. Outside of the Dallas-Seattle series,
the Devils lost. Great.
Well, at least they beat the Rangers first.
But at least the Devils lost. I'll take
Dallas-Seattle wasn't a great series, but Game 7 was a great Game 7. It was a 1-goal game.
Sucks. They blew tight. That. It was like fucking like 10 seconds, right? They like quick goal to start the game. Didn't they give up a first period goal? Nice and early last night in that Game 7.
I don't know. I didn't tune in until the middle of the second period. It was already 1-0.
I think I saw a game break. Like it was like it happened so early. It's just like, oh, that kind of kills your shit. You know, it's like, oh man, to give up a goal.
But the end got really tight because Dallas came back, scored a goal to go up 2-0. Beautiful goal that the guy scored. And then Seattle came back, finally got on the board with like 18 seconds to go when the goalie pulled. So now you had a frantic 18 seconds at the end too. So it was just really good. Seattle, a very nice showing in their second year of play.
That's great.
So the fan base is energized. And obviously these last 2 teams in expansion, Vegas and Seattle, the fan bases that they have going right now and the fan support that they have right now, it helps when your teams don't suck for the first 15 years.
I was going to say, is are they going to do something to change that? Like, are the other teams going to be like, bro, how are these expansion teams coming in and making the playoffs? So like they're going to like change the fucking draft or something?
I mean, probably not. There are rumors about more expansion, possibly adding 2 more teams. There's other towns up in the air, but really they got to figure out the Arizona Coyotes situation first, because right now they're legitimately playing at a college arena. So before they do anything, but it's just, think about expansion as we know it. You bring in a new team, they suck for years.
Yes, always.
And like the novelty wears off rather quick, right?
Of course.
Like you go see a new team because they're new, but if they keep losing, 90% of their games for 3 years, you're probably done being a fan of that team. Look at the Marlins. And then, and the Marlins won a World Series in what? 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. Their fifth year in existence, they won the World Series and couldn't even sell it out.
Nope.
So, and they've won another World Series since. It's been 20 years now since that last World Series. But hey, it's been a lot longer for other teams.
A lot of teams wish they were the Marlins, right? Like,
yeah,
as bad as the Marlins are, still got 2 in 25 years or whatever it is. Like, we'll take it.
Thank you guys for listening to the Car JoeMeZ podcast. Remember to follow us on all the social media at Car JoeMeZ. Subscribe wherever it is that you are taking in this show, whether that's on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Podbean, what's the other one? Stitcher Radio, wherever. Hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, and if you'd like, screenshot it, tweet it to us at Car JoeMeZ, and we will send you a autographed 8x10 as a token of our appreciation. You could find all my personal stuff at The Joe Shoes, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. ProWrestlingTees.com/Joe Shoes for all my t-shirts and to support, and YouTube.com/Joe Shoes for my food review videos, some toy stuff, and some little tidbits that I'll just be adding for the hell of it.
Very nice. The Gomez154, Instagram and Twitter. Check out that Twitch stream. You never know when I'm going to go live. I just pop on there sometimes and show some shit. That's Mez Movie on twitch.tv/Mez Movie.
All right. And next week, we are back with Fast X. Part 1 of 3 of X.
Like
X,
what?
1/3 X, I guess. I don't know. What are we supposed to call it? If it's supposed to be a trilogy, but we're ending at X, I don't know. But this is a Fast and the Furious movie, and we are here for it.
Can't wait.
So, Gomez, with all that being said, let's make like Tom and cruise.
Peace.